Hi, you're a whore. Fucking. Alright, let me get the first game up. It says it's only like 48 minutes ish, so like about an hour. So it's gonna be multiple games this stream. Oh, okay, hold on. What's up? Hey. Uh, specific window. There we go. Transform. Fit to screen. I'm seeing if my mom will let me buy Terraria. I haven't played Terraria outside that one time. Terraria is great. I heard a lot of good things about Terraria. I think if I played it with friends, maybe I could get into it more. But I wasn't really getting into it from what I did play. Hi! I was gonna drag you down the hole with me. Yeah, I've barely. Kyle is famous. Yeah, that's the name of the game. Kyle woke up. He is famous. Kyle is host of the most popular talk show in recent memory. Stay Up Late with Kyle. Oh boy. Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed. Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man. Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields. Most of the talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details. Hold on, I need to adjust my mic so I can hear that. There we go. Stem my nuts, yep. Most online videos are best of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast. The eye of the world is upon Kyle. Tonight is Kyle's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. She is a kind and lovely philanthropist. Yo, can he discuss his credit card info? Yeah. She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation. Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview. Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely. Kyle's first decision of the morning was made wisely. Wither away or exit the bed. What the fuck is this game? I don't know. Kyle exited his bed and took a quick glance around his bedroom. Opened the closet. Kyle opened the closet. It was dark and he could only really see his hanging shirts. Oh, is this a John? I don't know how to pronounce that name. I don't know, actually. I could probably check. Choose an outfit. Decide to take some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is. Skunk pasties. Let's try the, like, perfect route this time, I guess. Or, I guess it's perfect. Like, skunk, yeah. Kyle miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit. The chest pockets were filled with random knickknacks. No, my suit of armor. We'll pick the suit of armor next time. Return to the center of the bedroom. Scavenge. Quickly crouch down, realizing his immediate need for gossip. Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below. I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girlfriend, tell me more. Well, what I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers. What? David did Dusk and Gloomwood and Iron Lung. He also helps with New Blood Interactive, which publishes Ultra Kill. I want to play Ultra Kill. That's one of the ones I want to play. There was a stunned silence, then a door opened, and someone exited the neighbor's apartment. That's quite enough. Sit at desk. Kyle made his way over to his desk and sat down. Write notes. Wrote down his first question. Is your mother a mother? Am I a mother? Are you a mother? Wrote down his second question. What are some diet tips? Beef, mashed, or blended? Ever eaten a raw egg whole? That's probably wasn't the one I should pick, but I did anyways. Wrote down his third question. What's your funniest story? Wrote down his last question. What's your guilty pleasure? Okay. Made his way to his desk and sat down. Let's see. Check locked door. Move to kitchen. Leave apartment. Return to bed. Check locked door. Walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside. This game is certainly a game, yeah. One of the games ever created. Force the door with forehead. Kyle decided it would be best to try to force the door open with use of his face. After smashing his features into solid wood for several minutes, Kyle gained severe short-term amnesia. Okay. Kyle walked out into the middle of the road and took a long, pondering look around him. Visit tech store. Kyle walked into the clean, white tech store. He was greeted by Techno Jim, an elaborate cutout mascot playing soft music from a small microphone. Let's go, brain damage. Steal Techno Jim! Quickly, before the attendant could acknowledge him, Kyle grabbed Techno Jim by the shoulders. Finding that Techno Jim's cardboard feet were bolted to the ground, Kyle started to heave upwards. After several tugs, Techno Jim broke free, leaving one foot and one leg behind. Kyle glanced at the attendant, who was staring bewildered, and ran outside. Kyle walked out and... okay. Kyle hurried to the set. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded, forget her name from amnesia. Hello, you? Kyle's ears began to ring from his concussion. Rachel looked at Kyle, slightly confused, but continued smiling. Before she noticed the glazed look in Kyle's eyes, the producer approached. Time to get started, he said, putting a hand on Kyle's shoulder. Let's get stationed. Kyle sat in the nearest chair, which was Rachel's. After a moment, Rachel hesitantly sat in the host chair. Oh my god. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Good morning, everyone, said Kyle. My name is, Kyle made a desperate effort to remember his name, or really anything. Kyle looked at Rachel. Do you know who I am? He asked. Rachel looked back confused. Who are you? Well, if you're not Kyle, I don't know who you are. Rachel smiled sweetly. Kyle made up his mind that he was probably Kyle. Well, he said, I'm Kyle. A long silence followed. Eventually, Rachel spoke again. And I'm Rachel. Hi, everyone, she waved. Hi, Rachel, said Kyle. So, why are we here? Rachel was visibly worried. This shit is like Disco Elysium. I need to play Disco Elysium. I have it. I do have it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Weren't you planning on asking me any questions? I mean, I don't have any ideas, said Kyle. We do. Our notes. Kyle kept staring at Rachel. Someone coughed. Kyle looked around and noticed the crew. Who on earth are all of you? He asked. Nobody answered. Kyle got out of his chair and walked off frame, leaving Rachel alone with millions of viewers. Rachel smiled at the camera nervously. Well, she said, let me tell you some knock-knock jokes. The difference is that in Disco Elysium, I know what is happening. Eventually, the producer ended the broadcast early due to technical issues. Kyle woke up in his bed the next day, remembering nothing about what had happened. Kyle. Forgot everything. Okay, so there's... Okay. Reset. Wither away. Key for Gore. Kyle decided to stay put and wither away. Kyle withered successfully and died! Shucks. Kyle is now a ghost. This does not relieve him of his responsibility. Get out of bed anyway. Kyle exited his bed and took a quick glance around his bedroom. Open the closet. Choose an outfit. Let's do the suit of armor. Kyle was unsure of what exactly caused him to decide to wear his armor, but it felt like the right thing to do. After much squeezing and sweating, Kyle managed to wrap the metal suit around his dumpy self. Aren't I a ghost? Let's fucking go, speedrun. Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. Sit at desk. Write notes. Are you a mother? What's your funniest story? And what's your guilty pleasure? Check in desk drawer. Opened up the side drawer of his desk and grabbed one of the items stored there. Small key or assorted change. Okay. Scavenge. Give me some gossip. I do not want to bash my skull in again, so move to kitchen. Check pantry. Unlock with small key. The pantry door lock creaked as if it hadn't moved for years, but eventually opened. Look in pantry. Instead of an assortment, can ghosts get amnesia? I don't know. Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard? Kyle hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. Per normal. This dude is scary. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. "Good evening, Kyle," she said, looking him in the eyes. "I've been looking forward to being here." He's so silly. Kyle responded. "And I as well, Rachel," answered Kyle, extending his hand in meeting. "You are a most welcome guest." Shake hands. After other mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. No, he stopped being a ghost. As per normal. Gossip about neighbor or start broadcast. Let's see about those questions. Tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. "Hello, Kyle," she said. "I'm glad to be here." In response, Kyle collapsed on the floor. From a combination of stressful preparation and not eating anything, Kyle had passed out. Nobody in the studio quite knew what to do with him. They began to poke Kyle in the back to see if he moved. After a while, they ended the broadcast, shut off the lights, and went home. Kyle was left face first on the floor. Starving. Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can do the gossip. "Good evening, everybody," said Kyle. "My neighbor is a bug vigilante." With nothing more to say on the matter, he fell silent. Rachel, also on camera, stared at her hands and wondered when she was going to be introduced. The producer, that was my notice, started cutting to different camera angles to break the tension. Those are still mine. Kyle continued to remain silent and stare forward blankly. After several minutes, neighbor Gabby walked out onto set. Hi everyone, she said, smiling hollowly. My name is Gabby, and I'm not a bug vigilante. False. Kyle looked at Gabby and then returned to staring forwards. Gabby began to reply, but was interrupted by a bug-shaped intercom on her belt. Bug girl, it squawked. A robbery is in progress on East 3rd. Report immediately. Gabby threw the intercom on the ground and crushed it under her foot. After a beat, she spoke tightly. Something has come up suddenly, and I must go. Gabby left the set. Well, said Kyle, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us, Rachel. Kyle got up, shook Rachel's hand again, and walking past the cameras, leaving her alone. Not knowing what else to do, the producer ended the broadcast. In the coming days, fans of both Rachel and Kyle dubbed this show a masterpiece of television. Stay Up Late with Kyle's online pages were updated to reflect this broadcast as the most popular ever. Kyle's producer later tried to have Rachel on the show again, but she was very, very, very busy. Okay. Okay. Exit bed. Took a quick glance around his bedroom. Sit at desk. Write notes. Are you a mother? Some diet. Okay. Back to checking desk drawer. Small key. Back to desk. Back to room. Exit bedroom. Kitchen. Pantry. Unlock. Look. Chug a bottle. Kyle voraciously grabbed the closest bottle, snapped the neck against the wall, and sucked out all of the fat within a minute. Ew. Open fridge. Eat crust on fridge wall. Eat the fridge. Prepare breakfast. Eat the fridge. Kyle pointed his neck directly upwards and hoisted the fridge on top of his face. Somehow, miraculously, he wrapped his mouth around the device. He started to swallow. The fucking sound effects. In one slow, horrible movement, the fridge slid down Kyle's throat. After many gurgles, pops, and snaps, Kyle felt relatively sure the fridge would not come back out. Bad food. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. Visit downstairs neighbor. Approached his downstairs neighbor's door and knocked. A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door. Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly. Gabby, Kyle asked, what are your true thoughts about Rachel May? Oh, Rachel, Gabby said, she's a wonderful woman. Her generous acts have inspired more good work than bad. Gabby trailed off, not meeting Kyle's eyes. After several uncomfortable minutes in silence, Kyle turned around and left. Hurry to the set. Rachel's smile quickly turned to shock as she realized Kyle had not put on clothes that day. Kyle waved and smiled broadly. Rachel uncomfortably averted her eyes. Kyle started making his rounds around the room, greeting each crew member, none of whom looked at him directly. As it became apparent that Kyle had no intention of leaving, Rachel made some excuses and exited the set. One by one, the crew followed suit. Kyle was left all alone. Fuck. Okay. Exit the bed, open the closet, choose an outfit. Slick suit, back to room. Sit at desk, write notes. Back to desk, check in desk drawer, small key. Back to room. Exit. Move to kitchen. Check pantry, unlock, look, chug a bottle of lard. Stop. He ate a fridge and a nudist. What a guy. Do you think he was just walking around, like, fridge-shaped, kind of like the fucking, like, Jerry from Tom and Jerry when he ate a piece of cheese? Return to hallway. leave. Visit tech store. Ask attendant for free samples. The attendant gave Kyle a confused and slightly vacant look. Kyle began to beg for a free sample. Wanting Kyle to leave, the grabbed a decrepit phone meant for spare parts and held it out. Grab with teeth. Kyle firmly clamped his mouth around the outstretched phone, creating several punctures in the screen. Kyle grunted and yanked with his head until the attendant let go of the phone. The phone is now Kyle's to use forever. Answer politely. Okay. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle kinda freak, yeah. This guy... Kyle, I'm glad to be here. Kyle collapsed on the floor. What? I did eat. I ate some fucking lard. Man... You forgot to eat again. No, I didn't. I ate the lard. What happens if I just eat a bunch of lard? I can survive like 3 weeks with lard only. We ate the lard. What the hell? Yeah, literally. Sit at desk. Check in desk drawer. Small key. Back to desk. Back to room. Open the closet. Choose an outfit. Slick suit. Back to room. Check pantry. Unlock. Look in pantry. Chug. Chug. While he sucked down another bottle, he felt very sick. Kyle's vomit and the lard were mixing in a way to make it hard to tell which was which. As Kyle finished the last bottle of lard, he felt a wave of accomplishment come over him. Return to kitchen. Return to hallway. Leave apartment. Visit tech store. Give review of free sample. Oh, I still have the broken phone. This phone, said Kyle, is several years old and has exposed wires coming out of the back. Kyle continued. Also, the screen has had issues ever after I used it to hammer nails into the wall. Furthermore, when I submerge it in water, I get severely shocked until it runs out of battery. The attendant looked at Kyle, pursed his lips, and said nothing. Feeling he had made his argument, Kyle decided to leave. Okay. Steal. Oh, I didn't get to time. Kyle hurried to the set. So you guys would rather eat a fridge instead of lard. I mean, eating a bottle of lard does sound kinda gross. Shake hands. Start broadcast. Introduce Rachel. Kyle vomited all of the horrible things he'd eaten earlier onto the floor. Rachel looked at Kyle, concerned, gave a couple coughs, and decided to play it cool and keep the show running. I didn't kill him instantly. Kyle stopped, then vomited again, then continued with a shaky voice. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle mentioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so might as well dive right in, said Kyle. I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. In a shock, Kyle realized he had never bothered to prepare any notes for the interview. Knowing he had the eyes of millions upon him, Kyle came up with the solution quickly. Blame Rachel, run away, or play dead. Kyle slumped to his seat and played dead. Kyle, what are you up to? Asked Rachel, still smiling. Kyle did not respond and hoped nobody would ask questions. Kyle, why are you pretending to be dead? Asked Rachel. I can see you breathing. Kyle held his breath. The producer whispered to Rachel over her earpiece. Give him a couple slaps across the face and see if he wakes up. Rachel got up from her chair, walked to Kyle, and slapped him firmly across the face. Rachel slapped Kyle, continuously trying to get him to stop play acting. Other members of the crew stepped into frame to start slapping Kyle as well. Soon Kyle was lost in the amassment of people around him, all slapping his face with both hands. The slapping went on for many hours. Kyle did not wake up. Eventually, Kyle did not need to pretend to be unconscious. Oh, unlocked a new cursor. Oh, fuck. Got his ass. Settings. Can I, like... No? Okay, I think I just... Okay, that's interesting. Twitch chat voting? What? Wait, hold on. How does this work? Okay. Do I just hit enter? Oh, yeah, there's the name. Did it work? Hold on, can I actually make this... Okay, hold on. Okay. Can I make this... There we go. Oh, you can still see my thing in the background, I didn't realize that. This way I can actually see chat on my phone, maybe. Instead of... Not on my phone, on my screen instead of my phone. Fit to screen, okay. Okay, let's see if this works. We're gonna play the game for the streamer. What a day, yeah. Endings. Okay. What's this one? The interview. Huh. Quite. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Okay, there's actually quite a lot of endings. I think this is just the one we're on. Here? Oh, wow. Okay, let's see if this works, actually. Oh. Kyle woke up, he's famous. More. Okay, wow. Okay, that's... Can I, like, edit how much time that has? That's a lot. That's fast. Okay. How does this work? Do you guys... How do you guys vote? Yeah, maybe if you just... Oh, yeah, okay, you just type the letters in chat. You just type B, I think, or like A. Wither away. Okay. Oh, okay, so you guys pick, and then I get to pick. Okay. Shucks. Kyle is now a ghost. This does not relieve him of his responsibility. We're gonna die again, die. I can... That's really interesting. Open the closet. Now this is epic. Is this... Oh, water almost went down the wrong pipe. This is like an interesting mechanic, especially for... Oh yeah, I'm a ghost. Because we fucking died. Are we going to the normal route? I don't think so, honestly. You can try. I want to see if a ghost can do anything epic. Okay, the skunk. Slut era. Yeah, Kyle's in his slut era. Kyle chose the pasties made out of mashed skunk flesh. Ugh. Getting the slimy garments to stay proved difficult, so Kyle opted to stick them to his body with hot glue. Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. Yo, it's like a scroll stapler, a David game. Okay. Kyle walked into the small hallway that connected the rooms of his apartment together. I don't think you can vote twice. I think it probably keeps track of who voted. You can't vote more than once. Stop trying to rig the vote. Let's let's leave apartment. It's all a tie, so voter's choice. And I vote streamer's choice. Okay, I don't think it's gonna get any higher than eat the phone again. I still have the phone. Cause nice typo. This is pretty cool, but I think. Oh wait, we can vote with lowercase too, huh? Yeah. Quickly before the attendant could acknowledge him, Kyle grabbed Techno Jim by the shoulders. Finding that Techno Jim's cardboard feet were bolted to the ground, Kyle started to heave upwards. After several tugs, Techno Jim broke free, leaving one foot and one leg behind. Continue with day. Alright, so, return to apartment. I will say this is neat. I'm not sure if I'll do it for all of them, but it's nice to at least try out. You really want to check that locked door. Move to kitchen. We got the pantry and the fridge. Pantry. Kyle wanted to access the pantry, but found it was locked with a small keyhole. gonna get to the interview and fucking starve again. The pantry again, it's locked. Maybe there's food in the door? Kyle walked into the small hallway that connected the rooms of his apartment together. What if it is? I don't think it's gonna just unlock itself. We can go through walls, I'm telling ya. I mean, can't I? We are a ghost, I guess. Maybe. Let's see. Oh! Kyle walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside. Damn, fucking Danny Phantom over here. Yeah, it really takes like an hour just to walk through the fucking house. How big is it? He's gonna catch him while he's Danny Phantom. Kyle used his ghostly powers to walk straight through the door. Go inside. Kyle found himself in the room he stashed the various items sent to him by fans. Kyle's house is a mall. He's got a lot to carry with that dumpy. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is happening? I don't know. I think it would be nice if we could, like, maybe there is a setting, like, being able to, he's famous, this is just typical famous shit, like, being able to, like, change the, like, time on the timer, because I don't think I really need that much time for a chat this small. Kyle walked over to the dilapidated sewing machine. Its box was only half removed. I think you can just choose after all of us vote, no? I mean, you can just click early. Kyle found himself in the room he stashed the various... Wait, is that it? Why can't we sew? We need something? Oh, maybe. We need the lard. Lard me up. Oh, side door? Oh wait, I think that's the door we were just at. That's where we came from? Yeah, I think that's where we came from. Can you change your votes? I don't think so. Maybe, but you could try. Yeah, you can't change your votes. Well, since that's probably the same thing, let's move to kitchen. We only have 2 hours left. Help. Only 2 hours to drink a whole bottle of lard. We got 1 hour. There's no lard in the fridge. I fucking clicked some random stream on accident. Kyle constructed a breakfast of poached eggs and toast along with a small fruit cup and grilled sausage. Smash or eat? That sounds yummy. Yeah, it does sound yummy. Make me kinda hungry. normal route. I'm not sure it's that normal, considering we're wearing fucking skunk pasties. Oh, those sound effects. Ugh. Kyle ate his breakfast slowly and thoughtfully, enjoying every bite. He felt refreshed. Kyle returned to the set per normal. He ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. Just hearing the stream has been great. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Of course. Interview Techno Jim. Kyle roughly shoved Rachel out of her seat and placed Techno Jim in her stead. Hello, Techno Jim, said Kyle. I'm going to interview you today. Kyle grasped Techno Jim's hand and tried to shake it, but instead tore it off the cardboard frame. Kyle's producer, sensing viral media, pulled the bewildered Rachel out of frame and motioned to the crew to go live. The cameraman moved, lights flashed, and suddenly the studio was on air. Hi, I'm Kyle, said Kyle, and tonight I'm going to interview a very special guest. He pointed at Techno Jim using the dismembered arm. Techno Jim started to smoke from the heat of the lights. Would you like to introduce yourself? Asked Kyle. Knowing Jim would probably not speak, Kyle took it upon himself to be his voice as well. Hi, Kyle, he said, raising the pitch of his voice. My name is Rachel May, and I'm a very special guest. Rachel's expression of confusion turned to shock. Well, Rachel, you look way too thin and absolutely terrible, and you should feel ugly. Kyle gave Jim a meaningful stare. Wow, Kyle, he said. I sure wish I could look like you. Techno Jim burst into flames. Instantaneously, the sprinkler system initiated. Curtains of water poured down the rafters. Within seconds, the production equipment was doused in water. The set was soon abuzz with electrical fires. Kyle's crew abandoned their posts as cameramen and sound mixers to try to put the fires out. As the crew scrambled around, the cameras continued to run. Kyle sat motionless, staring forward. Eventually, the fires were all put out. Kyle's producer shut off the broadcast, leaving Kyle's vacant stare as the final frame. Kyle's ratings skyrocketed. Techno Jim became a staple in the show, often ending up destroyed by the end of each episode. Although Rachel did not come back on the show, her cardboard portrayal did. Rachel was very popular. What happens if we... Hold on. What happens if we, interview with her instead of Techno Jim? Of course you want to scream and spin in circles. We're silly, shut up. Kyle stretched his arms wide, tilted his neck upwards, and was interrupted by his producer telling him and Rachel that it was time to start the show. Average EFDN behavior. You really want to scream. Kyle shoved his producer out of the way, spread his arms wide, and began to scream loudly. He began to rotate slowly, screaming throughout, lightly brushing his hands against the faces of Rachel and his producer. After several minutes, Kyle was finished. He slowly put his hands to his sides and smiled. I'm ready, said Kyle. Rachel blinked at Kyle, shrugged, and walked over to her seat to start the interview. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. who needs no more introduction. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm sure we have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in. I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. In a shock, Kyle realized he had never bothered to prepare any notes for the interview. And knowing he had the eyes of millions of there's no choice for voting for this one? Well, we already played Dad, so... Run away. Kyle ejected from his seat and ran out of the studio as quickly as possible. After it became apparent that Kyle was not coming back, the producer ended the episode and everyone went home. Kyle prepared by running away. Hold on, what if we... Hold on. Shake hands. Were prompted to take their place for the broadcast. I'm glad to be here. Might as well dive right in. I'm very ready. Now, what if we blame her? Sanest route, here we come. It is actually the sanest. Rachel, I need to be honest. You're not terribly interesting, and I could not think of what I should ask you. Damn. In fact, continued Kyle, I would far rather interview a fish than I would you. And furthermore, said Kyle, I'm not sure I could tell the difference between a you and a fish. Kyle leaned back in his chair and desperately hoped the blame had been shifted adequately. Rachel glowered at Kyle. I'm imagining Kyle looks exactly like fucking Jimmy Fallon. I mean, probably Monka S. Kyle glowered back. Rachel left the studio. Kyle no longer had a guess and spent the next 42 minutes staring at the camera silently. Kyle prepared by blaming others. Let's, endings. Okay. There's quite a few. Alright. Skip that. I forgot to turn the... Hold on. Settings. I'm gonna turn the... I'm gonna turn that off just so it goes a little faster, because that is nice, but it does... It is a little... It is slower. Skip this. Well, browse social media, that's a new option. Kyle started to scroll through news articles on his phone. Read article. Stay up late with Kyle, ranked number 1 on and number 2 show on television. New East Bridge being constructed after being found to not actually exist. Authorities investigating. Another grand larceny and crime spree streak. Evidence points to perpetrator fleeing the country. Rachel May to unexpectedly leave the country on very, very long vacation after interview tonight. Oh. Who is the bug vigilante? Recently spotted pursuing larcenists. Kyle fails to show up to several charity events. Bug vigilante shows up to charity events with fresh-baked pastries. Donations flourish. Hot dogs making resurgence as fuel source for both humans and tugboats. Phone model recall. Techno gym stores blame overuse by customers. Kyle's phone exploded in his hands from overuse. Okay. We've got 18 hours. We wasted, like, who knows how many. Tesla branded phone. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. Let's put on the suit. Back to room. Sit at desk. Write notes. What's your guilty? Okay, back. Back to exit bedroom to hallway. Move to kitchen. Open fridge. Prepare a breakfast. Eat. Return. Return to home. Okay, there we go. We're going so normal. We are so normal. Shake hands. After other mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. Start broadcast. Introduce Rachel. More. I'm sure we as well dive right in. I'm very ready. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. I'm still curious about the locked door that we can go through as it goes. Well, we can try that next. What's your guilty pleasure? What's your funniest story? What's your funniest story? What's your funniest story? Well, that's a great question, Kyle, said Rachel. I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family. In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt in the pot. While my family was sick from trying to eat it, I swiped their things and locked myself in my room. I wonder if maybe doing more endings unlocks more stuff for the locked room. It might be, yeah. It said it was stuff sent by fans. Rachel laughed elegantly. Kyle decided to move on. Kyle asked another question. What's your guilty pleasure? We all have one. What's your guilty pleasure? Oh, well, that's an easy answer, said Rachel. Dipping pickles in chocolate sauce. It might sound strange, but it's tangy and sweet at the same time. I eat it far too often, Rachel smiled sweetly. Kyle asked another question. Are you a mother? Well, being a single woman with a career, she answered, that's not something that has crossed my mind. Rachel smiled genuinely at Kyle. Very reasonable indeed, said Kyle. He referenced his paper of questions. Kyle asked another question. What are some diet tips? Rachel, you manage to keep such a thin and healthy figure, said Kyle. What is your best diet tip? Well, a good diet starts with a plan, answered Rachel, and don't break it. Cheat days can turn into a habit. But, she continued, that doesn't mean a midnight snack here and there isn't allowed, she smiled. Kyle looked at his flabby self, decided to not comment, and moved on. After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper. Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you. If that's the case, Kyle, may I ask you something in return? Asked Rachel, smiling one more time. Bro, she's a sicko too, and she had the audacity to look at us as a freak. Do you prepare for your interviews in advance? Because they seem very together. Before Kyle could answer, the camera shut down. The broadcast was over. Returned home knowing the interview had gone well. But he lay in bed and drifted to sleep. He felt that perhaps something was still missing. More world options. Oh, fuck. I actually... Oh, God, I keep doing that. What does more world options mean? Endings. Oh. Okay. God, there's a lot here. We can go to McDonald's. Skip. Exit the bed. Took a quick glance around his bedroom. Let's see. Write notes for interview. Is your mother a mother? Ever eaten a raw egg? What's your funniest story? Do you feel guilty? Are you guilty? Desk drawer? Oh, there's more in here. The CDs and flashlight weren't in there before. Flashlight? Okay. But after jiggling the switch, he found it was out of batteries. Scavenge. Resources? Kyle began to comb through the damp piles of filth and mold on his floor and search for helpful items. After finding and eating a few bits of crumbs and old cheese, Kyle found something much more important. Indeed, it was the corpse of Harry, a friend that had gone missing years ago while at Kyle's house. Kyle was glad to see him again, but was unsure of whether to interrupt such an important day with Harry business. Deal with Harry. Kyle hoisted Harry onto his shoulder and took him outside. Kyle is so normal, it's like breathing. Kyle began dragging Harry's body down the street, drawing many, many stairs. Kyle knew exactly where he needed to take Harry's corpse, on a lovely play date, just the two of them. Kyle and Harry started at the arcade. Kyle used Harry's arms to operate the joysticks and push buttons. After 5 or 6 different games, the two friends had enough tickets for a single candy bar. They took their prize to the local park for eating. Kyle tried to feed some of the chocolate bar to Harry, but Harry seemed to not have an appetite. After eating, Kyle noticed a nearby playground. He dragged Harry over. Kyle tried to figure out a way to swing Harry on the swing set, but lacking the ability to grip, Harry kept falling out. Instead, Kyle started to lug Harry to the top of the slide and shove him down time and time again. Finally, Kyle took Harry to the movies to see as many popular films as their pocket change allowed. Kyle quickly found that he had no pocket change, so he searched through Harry's pockets until he found his wallet. Kyle bought 2 tickets to A Love Romance. After getting inside, Kyle left Harry to go find a restroom. By the time Kyle had finished using the restroom, he had forgotten that he brought Harry along. Kyle watched A Love Romance by himself. Harry's corpse sat on a bench in the atrium. While Kyle was in the movie, a beautiful thing happened. Harry's corpse, imbued with the power of friendship and love, was reanimated! Harry's old, rotten flesh gained color and life. His fingernails regrew. His missing eye came back. By the time the movie was over, Harry was able to greet Kyle with a large, friendly hug as his old self. Kyle was confused, but delighted to have his long-lost friend meet him on his way out of the theater. The two made plans to get drinks together and parted ways for the day. Kyle returned home, forgetting about the interview with Rachel. Oh. Oh. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. Okay, wow. This actually might be longer than I thought it would be. Okay, hold on. Read article. Read more. Another grand larceny and crime spree streak. Evidence points to perpetrator fleeing the country. Very long vacation after interview tonight. Get out of bed. Open the closet. Choose it. Wait, what was that? What was it? Inspect rusty locker. Kyle knelt down and inspected the old rusty container that had been in his closet for ages. It was locked, but had a blade-shaped slot on the top. Huh. Sit at desk. Write notes for interview. Is your mother a mother? Beef mashed or blended? What's your funniest story? Are you guilty? Do we need to find that later? I assume we're just unlocking more and more. Open the closet, scavenge. Let's eat some food so we don't starve. Eat. Eat the crust. I think we would just get bad food. Back to hallway. Move to kitchen. Okay. Start broadcast. Oh, become Rachel May. That's a new option. However, said Kyle, suddenly dropping his voice, Rachel May is not sitting next to me. She is not new to the show. She did not walk in before me. In fact, said Kyle, I am Rachel May. Rachel looked at Kyle, confused, and silently mouthed the words, You are who? Kyle stood up quickly and threw his arms high above him, pointing upwards. I have never been Kyle, he proclaimed. I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Kyle. Fact kid. Kyle looked and pointed directly at the camera. I am here for but one reason, to interview myself. Kyle sat down in his chair and went to produce the notes he had taken earlier. Kyle read the first question on his list. Is your mother a mother? Kyle replied, no, because I am my mother. And, continued Kyle, I am your mother and everyone's mother, and also Rachel and Kyle, and I'm also your children and that woman you met in the coffee shop yesterday, and your high school best friend. And I'm your friends, and I'm that person next to you, and I'm also you. Nobody seemed to understand. It's a magic trick, shouted Kyle happily. I'm everyone now. Kyle got up and happily danced out of the studio, arms spread wide. Although not taken seriously at first, sociologists quickly found that Kyle's claims were true. Somehow, magically, Kyle became everybody, and nobody else technically existed anymore. After a massive amount of study, it was found that Kyle had stumbled upon a very unexpected sociological loophole. Nobody really knew what to do with this newfound discovery, so they decided to do nothing. Kyle continued to be theoretically everyone, and everybody else continued to be theoretically non-existent. It was a strange time to be alive. Kyle was everyone. Okay. Shake hands. Introduce Rachel. Mashed or blended? A burning question from the fans, said Kyle. Beef, do you prefer mashed or blended? Rachel answered promptly, mashed, and no more was said on that matter. Kyle asked another question. Is your mother a mother? So, said Kyle, my mother is a mother, my mother's mother is her mother, and my mother's mother. And many mothers have mother's 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 mother. Is your mother a mother? Rachel went to answer and stopped. I believe, she said eventually, that I should answer yes. Kyle asked another question. What's your funniest story? You've been involved in a lot of different things, but what's your funniest story? Yep. Laughed elegantly. Decided to move on. Are you guilty? Rachel, are you guilty? Kyle threw his questions on the floor, stood up and pointed at her. Rachel's eye twitched slightly. Guilty of what, dear Kyle? She smiled disingenuously. Guilty, spat Kyle, of your crimes? Rachel did not answer. Her eyelids both started twitching uncontrollably. Kyle pulled out his phone and dialed the police. Hello, police, said Kyle. I believe I have found a criminal. Rachel began to run towards the exit. On her way, she swatted Kyle's phone out of his hand, tripped her. Kyle stuck out his leg. Rachel stumbled and crashed to the floor. But in a moment, she was on her feet. She drew a blunt weapon, seemingly out of thin air, and started to swing at Kyle. Before Kyle had a chance to react, a figure burst through the roof and blocked Rachel's attack. It was a middle-aged woman in a bug-shaped mask. She was brandishing a bug-shaped stick. The woman began to fight with Rachel, flicking her weapon back and forth with surprising speed. What is this fucking shonen anime? Rachel tried to fight back, but it was obvious she was no match for the interceptor. With one quick move, the Buck Vigilante drew her foot high above her head and drove it straight onto Rachel's hand. The weapon clattered to the floor. Rachel attempted to run again, but was met with a stick to her legs. She fell at the feet of a police officer just arriving from Kyle's call. Rachel was charged with 7 cases of grand larceny. After her first month in jail, Rachel started a reality TV show about prison cooking, filmed from her cell. The show gained immense popularity, and somehow the public began to love Rachel all the more. Kyle made guest appearances on Rachel's show many times. The identity of the bug vigilante was never known. She remained a mysterious but important part of local law enforcement. What happens if I do that, but I let her go? Or, like, I just don't call the cops. Are you guilty? More. Kyle... Oh, I can just ask another question. What's your funniest story? Okay. Okay. So we can just move on. Okay. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I thought it would take me to the, like, ending screen. Well, okay, what if we just let her go? Rachel disappeared out the door, never to be seen again. In the coming days, the grand larcenies that had been plaguing the city stopped. Kyle was credited with exposing Rachel's crime spree, but nobody remembered in a couple weeks. A month later, in the European city that Rachel had planned to vacation in, crime rates skyrocketed. Kyle solved a crime. Alright. Oh god, there's definitely a lot. Oh. Rachel was guilty. Oh. There's... Huh. Skip that. Exit the bed, sit at desk. Are you guilty? There we go. Back to room. Open the closet. Choose an outfit. Slick suit. Rachel got canceled. I mean, yeah. Exit bedroom to hallway. Move to kitchen. Open fridge. Prepare breakfast. Eat. Return. Turn to hallway. Leave apartment. Visit downstairs neighbor. Kyle approached his downstairs neighbor's door and knocked. A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door. Greet and start conversation. Scream and spin. Consume Gabby. Kyle unhinged his jaw and swallowed Gabby whole. Job done. Kyle returned to the middle of the street. Kyle walked out into the middle of the road and took a long, pondering look around. Visit tech store. Give a review. Okay. Kyle responded. Answer politely. Shake hands. More. Start broadcast. Introduce. More. 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 Are you guilty of your crimes? Call police. Trip her. So now we shouldn't... we should probably get a different ending since Gabby can't save us because she was the one who... the bug vigilante. But in a moment she was on her feet, she drew a blunt weapon, seemingly out of thin air, and started to swing at Kyle. Kyle, having nothing to defend himself with, was smacked repeatedly in the head. Kyle lost consciousness several times, but somehow managed to remain upright. Rachel, thinking Kyle had not been incapacitated, continued her assault. Eventually, standing upright or not, it became apparent that Kyle had been adequately incapacitated. Rachel glanced around slightly guilty and shuffled out the door. Let Rachel go. Okay. Let's not eat our neighbor this time. Are you mother? Are you guilty? Back to room. Open the closet. Choose an outfit. Just the slick suit will do. Move to kitchen. Prepare breakfast. Eat. Done. He takes a whole hour to eat. I'm curious about the CD now. Yeah, we'll do the CD next, actually. Greet and start conversation. Good morning, Gabby, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked expectantly. Asked Gabby about Rachel. Gabby, what are your true thoughts about Rachel May? Oh, Rachel, she's a wonderful woman. Her generous acts have inspired more good work than bad. Gabby trailed off, not meeting Kyle's eyes. After several uncomfortable minutes of silence, Kyle turned around and left. Oh. Bro, he takes a whole hour to walk across his house. Yeah, literally. Okay. Well, that's... Okay, hold on. Main menu. Endings. So that was, like, a different... Yeah, okay. Skip. Get out of bed. Hold on. I didn't get anything different there, so... Choose an outfit, just give me that. Sit at desk, write notes. Who care? Are you guilty? Back to room. Exit bedroom to hallway. Move to kitchen. Open fridge. Prepare breakfast. Do not eat the fridge. Turn to hallway. Leave. Visit downstairs neighbor more. Greet. Ask Gabby about... Tell me about yourself. Oh, nope, never mind. Not enough time. Alright, let's just, sit at desk. Desk drawer. CDs. Maybe the CDs were unlabeled or broken. Take carnival music, classical music, festival music, or dance music. Carnival. Simply labeled carnival time. Back to room. Open the closet, inspect the rusty locker, and there's nothing there. Turn to the center of the bedroom. Scavenge for bugs. Soon he had a small handful of various insects dead and alive, saved for later use. Ball of bugs. Wow. Oh, I didn't get to eat breakfast. I don't know. We'll see. Answer politely. Shake hands. Start broadcast. Introduce Rachel. Produce CD. As Rachel started to reply, Kyle clamped his hand over her mouth. Hush, he said. I need to do something before we can continue. Kyle removed the CD he had brought to the interview and placed it in a nearby player deck. The sound system kicked into action, piping Kyle's music throughout the studio. Rachel briefly listened, a blank expression on her face. Smiling, Kyle closed his eyes and enjoyed the music for a moment, then he spoke. Alright, now everything's ready, let's begin. Okay. Clown music, yeah. Are you guilty? I'm sorry, Kyle, said Rachel. What on earth is this music? It's very, well, it's something. It's an old favorite, Rachel, said Kyle. This is what I grew up on. It's part of my most special collection. Kyle and Rachel sat silently, the music playing in the background. Rachel began to frown. Suddenly, the wall next to Kyle exploded. Through the hole stepped several men in dazzling, flamboyant costumes of bright color. They held guitars, pianos, and other instruments. Kyle, said the man in front, we are the band of your childhood. Kyle's jaw dropped, smiling. He put his hands to his cheeks. His eyes sparkled. Yo, gay people. We have come to issue a grievance about playing our music on TV without a license. The man took his guitar in both hands and began slamming Kyle's face repeatedly. After several hours, the grievance had been sufficiently repaid. The band left through the hole they had created in the wall. Kyle lay on the floor, thinking about what had happened. Rachel slowly slid to his side. Are you feeling okay, Kyle? She asked. She had a concerned expression on her face. Have you ever met your childhood idol, Rachel? Asked Kyle. The person you looked up to for as long as you can remember. I can't say I have, said Rachel. Kyle raised both fists in the air. It feels amazing! Kyle spent the rest of Rachel's interview chatting happily about meeting his lifelong favorite band. Rachel listened and asked questions politely, seemingly unfazed that her moment on TV had been uprooted. Eventually, the studio was out of time and the broadcast shut off. Kyle and Rachel walked out of the studio together. Kyle was grinning widely. The two said their goodbyes and walked off in separate directions. As Kyle walked home, he felt like the interview had been everything he had hoped it to be. He had gotten everything he had ever wanted as a child. Kyle played music. Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, I guess it must be the same for no matter what CD you pick. Skip that. Let's die again. Get out of bed anyways. Check locked door. Float through. Oh, there's more stuff here. Check supernatural artifact and get laser claymore. This was one of the many mysterious artifacts Kyle had been sent over the years. Stash the mysterious artifact for later use. Get the claymore too, why not? Return to bedroom. Open the closet. Let's inspect Rusty. Insert laser claymore. Kyle took the laser claymore in his hand and slid it into the hole on top of the box. The box began to rumble slowly, but then it shook harder and harder. Suddenly, with a snap, the box lid came loose. Kyle, giddy with excitement, grabbed the box to drag it into the light. With much sweating and pulling, Kyle slowly inched the box out of his closet. He began to giggle and drool. Soon the box had been transported into the middle of the room. Kyle clapped his hands together and gripped the lid on either side. With a tug, it tumbled to the floor, revealing the contents of the box. There was nothing inside. Kyle was incredibly disappointed. This had been an opportunity for him, a way to find something new, a way to break up the routine. Suddenly, Kyle was struck with an unquenchable feeling of boredom about his life. Kyle jumped to his feet and burst outside, hungry to find anything that could give his day a feeling of interest. Painfully, Kyle started grabbing anything he could reach, smashing it into his face to see what it could possibly do for him. Rocks, benches, people, squirrels, and the ground itself fell into Kyle's grasp, but soon his energy began to wane. Slowly, sadly, Kyle made his way back to his apartment, quietly grabbing small items off the ground and rubbing them against himself. Kyle slowly sank into his bed, as bored as when he had left earlier that day. He looked at the ceiling, feeling hollow. The day had been very hard. As he slowly fell asleep, Kyle wondered what he could possibly do tomorrow to inspire a new sense of interest in his life. He didn't know it then, but tomorrow, Kyle would try something new. Kyle was bored. Click here, continue the story. What? Okay, hold on. BRB real quick, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll just leave it on the screen. And I'm back. What is this? Continue the story. Ah. I see. Okay. Oh my god. Alright, alright. I think I understand. So that's okay. Alright. I think I'm gonna have that as the last one. Cause and then move to, yeah. Well, I think that game's really interesting.